Hey, we are live again on Facebook. I'm here, Olivia. Do you have stomach problems? Do you have heartburn issues? Do you have things where you've gone to your MD and went like, I have this, and they go, well, here's the pill, or let's maybe do an ultrasound, some imaging. Can we treat our body naturally? That's where we're meant to be treated, as we all know. This is common sense now, people. Treat our body naturally so we can do the right things, keep our body healthy inside and out. We're here with Olivia, our guest today. She is an expert in nutrition, emphasis on gallbladder, liver issues, and digestive issues. She's going to go over a quick bio of how she got into this and why this is her passion now. So Olivia, take it over, see what's going on. Tell my audience, and obviously future audience and future podcast people too, what's going on with you and how things got into this.
Yes, awesome. And thanks for everyone for joining. My name is Olivia Haas. I am a holistic nutritionist. And like I think most nutritionists, we kind of become obsessed with the healing powers of food through our own personal experience. So for me personally, I've always had chronic digestive issues. I've been a chronic dieter, done bodybuilding, all that stuff, and just never really understood how my body worked for a long time. And throughout my health journey, as I like to call it, I've had a history of hypothyroidism, so low thyroid function. And fast forward to my 30s, I started to develop what I now know is a low function gallbladder, gallbladder sludge, and gallbladder polyps. So gallbladder, what is interesting and why I became so obsessed with it, one, it's this tiny little organ that is so powerful that sits below your liver. And many people don't even know what it is until they end up in the ER because they have what we call gallbladder attack-like symptoms. And just like that the same experience happened to me. And I since then became extremely passionate about studying about the gallbladder and the liver, because they're kind of like these sister organs that work together. And I've learned just to kind of specialize on the gallbladder and liver through my own personal experience, and get to help a ton of clients with pre-gallbladder surgery, post-gallbladder surgery, or people that are battling gallbladder or gallstones on top of fatty liver and kidney stones. So it's been just an awesome experience getting to connect with so many other like-minded individuals that we're all going through the same thing. And now I get to kind of educate them that you have other options to kind of heal your body. So I'm on Instagram at gallbladder.nutritionist, and you can also find me on honoryourcore.com as well.
And my biggest thing is that I put all your connections on the post for the Facebook post now, and also down the line put on YouTube, Instabook, TikTok, everything else can put it on, right? Put all of it, might as well. Yeah. A lot of it is you know your stuff. Why do you have to educate the public? Aren't our MDs, aren't our medical profession, aren't our doctors know about this stuff? Or what do they what's their normal routine? What's their normal pathway when someone comes with chronic stomach pain, gallbladder pain, liver pain? What is their normal health pathway through the hospital or healthcare system now?
Yeah. So the normal pathway is that someone will normally go to their primary MD, and they'll start to experience maybe chronic heartburn for several months, where it's just so severe that it can sometimes even become vomiting or nausea. Then they'll start to get these like severe abdominal pain in your upper right abdomen. And it's a pain that I have quite a few female clients that they say sometimes is worse than labor, and it is the most excruciating pain. Mm-hmm. And it can last anywhere from 1 to 4 hours. So someone will start to experience this, and they'll go to their doctors, and the first thing that they'll do is run like blood tests to look at all of their liver enzymes. They'll maybe look at just like a general blood panel, and then they'll do an ultrasound of their upper right abdomen. The ultrasound will generally show if there's any signs of fatty liver, gallstones, or gallbladder sludge. There are these rare cases sometimes where someone experienced gallbladder-like dysfunction, and they go to their doctor and nothing shows up in the ultrasounds, and then they're left like, what do I do? And so this is where I always usually recommend to any of my clients with digestive issues that they should be working with a GI doctor as well. A GI doctor will look at, gastrointestinal doctor will look at, they'll pull another test called a HIDA scan with an ejection fraction. And that HIDA scan with an ejection fraction can kind of see if there's any inflammation in around the gallbladder and liver and your bile ducts. And they can test at what level is your gallbladder contracting. And often if people have gallbladder symptoms without any stones or sludge, it's considered a low functioning gallbladder. So they get all the same symptoms. So after all of those diagnoses, usually most doctors will recommend removing the gallbladder and follow a low fat diet. But there's not really any other education that's given to, you know, what caused it in the first place, one, and then two, what are your options outside of gallbladder removal? Like, let's say if diet is the number one factor for gallstones, why is it not discussed in these consultations? And so the people just leave these appointments. Some individuals, you know, their doctors are very well versed in the gallbladder and liver, and they will tell their patients, you know, you can live years with gallstones. And that's the thing people don't realize. Gallstones don't happen overnight. They're in your body from anywhere from 8 to 10 years plus. So you were living fine just before that with gallstones. So it just hits a point where all of a sudden you may continue to eat really bad or a really fatty meal, and it triggers gallbladder-like symptoms, or a gallstone passes. So I have seen it either way, where either the doctor will tell them no, removal is a must. And sometimes it is if there's a diseased organ in your body. Yeah. But a lot of times you can manage and reverse a lot of your gallbladder symptoms. And that's what I try. I'm not trying to tell my clients to prevent surgery. Surgery is definitely a must. And it's a discussion that needs to be made between you and your doctor. But there are other options, and the biggest fail in the system is not discussing diet and lifestyle changes that need to be made for these individuals to address the metabolic issue pre and post gallbladder removal. And that's what I work on with clients.
What I think a lot of this too, like you're talking about, is okay, it's almost looking at the cause of the gallbladder issue. If it's not hereditary, if it's not genetic, at that point, what lifestyle caused the gallbladders? Because we all know this. We know this, but people may not know this, is once you remove the gallbladder, if you haven't changed your lifestyle, if that's the reason you had the gallbladder removed, if that's what you want to do, at that point, it's going to start affecting other things down the chain of command, more down the line, affecting your digestive system, correct?
Right. Yeah. And what a lot of people don't realize is that your gut and your liver play a big factor in your gallbladder health. So it's never your gallbladder being the issue. So like gallstones, gallbladder sludge is not the root cause. Your hormones can play a factor. Your liver health is like the number one thing. And then as well as your gut. So if there's any bacterial infections in your gut, H. pylori, SIBO, leaky gut, those can all trigger inflammation in your body, increase inflammation in your gallbladder, but also specifically your gut and your liver talk to each other. So if there's inflammation going on in your gut, we can assume your liver's not that healthy. There's other factors as well that go into gallbladder. And then when we talk about diet, diets that have been linked to gallstones are high fat and low protein diet, or high fat, low fiber diets, high protein diet, low fiber, diets that are high specifically in refined carbohydrates and refined sugars. The reason why is because these foods, the biggest issue with gallbladder is it's often stemming from your liver, that your liver creates what we call bile, and bile helps break down fat. So if you eat something like, let's say, cheese, your liver releases this bile and it gets stored in your gallbladder, and that bile helps your body digest fats. So people with gallbladder issues can't digest fats well. And what happens is your liver, if it gets overworked, if it's like overburdened by your diet, your lifestyle, or just stress, it creates this bile that is higher in cholesterol to what we call bile salts. And it becomes this thick like soap. And that stagnant bile ends up sitting in your gallbladder and leading to gallstones. So you see, when we talk about gallbladder health, we have to look at the whole outside picture of what causes it. So the number, go ahead.
Is it stress, mental, physical stress, or is it digestive stress to your body?
I think all three.
Okay.
Yeah. All
Okay.
three, because when your body is in a state of stress, your liver can't detoxify 100%, but also your organs kind of just shut down if you're in a mental state of stress. Then if you deal with physical stress from your diet or from like having, like, let's say like too many toxins in your lifestyle, so from heavy metal toxicity or the toxic, skincare products, things like that, that also puts stress on your liver as well.
And when you do that, you're talking about liver and gallbladder combination. How do they exactly work together from a layman's terms?
So your gallbladder and your liver, so your gallbladder basically sits right below your liver. So your liver is what's responsible. It has like over 500 functions. A lot of people don't realize, they think it just helps detoxify the body. One of the main functions is it creates bile. And bile is what's needed to help break down fats. And what happens is your liver creates bile. It then gets passed down to the gallbladder. Your gallbladder is just a house of bile. So it just stores the bile there. Then let's say you eat an avocado or something fatty. Your gallbladder then contracts and it releases the bile and it helps start the digestion of fats.
Okay. So that cycle works together. What can limit the liver to not stimulate the gallbladder to release bile?
Some parts of it are, when you're stressed. So like if it shuts down, like if your liver is basically, when your body's in a state of stress, it can shut your organs off from doing different things. So one is your gallbladder, and you see this a lot with like low functioning gallbladders, they don't contract as well. And that's one thing that can cause it to not work as well. Same thing with your liver not detoxifying 100%.
Okay. And again, with what's going on, do we look at also supplementation as a way to affect the function of the liver and the gallbladder?
Yeah, so we can definitely add in different supplements that basically kind of help stimulate your bile production and clean up, because the biggest issue when we talk about gallstones and sludge, the biggest problem usually lies more in the health of the bile. So there's supplements and herbs that you can use to clean up the bile, and then as well as to stimulate your liver and your gallbladder to release bile. So when we talk about supplements that kind of help, there are things that kind of remove what we call fat deposits around the liver. And some of those nutrients are what we call like lipotropics. So they usually combine either some type of amino acid. So like taurine and glycine are these two amino acids that often are derived from animal protein that help support the liver to create bile acid or bile salts. So that's one thing to help improve the liver. Sunflower lecithin as well has been studied to help remove fat deposits in the liver. And then we look at the key nutrients that the liver needs to create healthy bile. So B vitamins, a lot of glutathione, a lot of cruciferous vegetables, so like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage.
Love broccoli.
Yes, eat your broccoli.
Yes.
Let me think what else. Certain herbs, so milk thistle, turmeric, those are really good for cleaning the bile and stimulating the bile. There's some other herbs that we can use as well. Burdock root, dandelion root, those all clean out the liver and help stimulate bile production. When it comes to
you don't want a general liver detox. You want basically something specific, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So the issue with like a lot of like juice cleanses or general liver detoxification is, one, they don't take into the individual's genetics and how their liver detoxifies. Secondly, a lot of those juice detox programs are missing a lot of those key nutrients, which are needed to support second phase of liver detoxification. So what a lot of people don't realize is your liver needs amino acids to detox its second phase to remove out a lot of the toxins.
What's that mean, second phase?
So
I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know this. I don't know. I'm asking.
your liver detoxes in a lot more complicated way. So it has phase 1 detoxification, where it pulls out different chemicals from your body. And then it goes into what we call phase 2, where it does further detoxification before your body detoxes out through like sweat glands or even through gallbladder and your bile production. So phase 1 is kind of the introductory, and then phase 2 is kind of where like your liver breaks down even more.
Okay. And when it breaks down, it can break down through probably excretion, through, like you said, through sweating too. Is there certain activities that we should be doing to help also detoxify the liver and get the gallbladder to produce more bile? Physical things.
Yeah, so I always encourage clients to like do what we call optimized daily liver detoxification, rather than doing all of a sudden this like aggressive juice program. So what I usually recommend is that you do get some type of exercise every day, so you can kind of sweat out those toxins. So with exercise, really it should be something you enjoy, but incorporating something like doing some strength training, low impact exercise is really good. Build that muscle, burn the fat, and help stabilize your blood sugar. Other ways you can detoxify is through chiropractic treatments and acupuncture.
Yes.
Right?
Yep, exactly.
Can you explain how that helps detox the liver?
A lot of it is I think we talked about a little bit with the text message back and forth before we started the show. A lot of it is your vagus nerve controls a lot of the stress affecting your body, for one. So when your body is less stressed, and realize chiropractors our jobs are really to help nervous system improve through spinal adjustments. That's really our focus per se. When the nerves work better, then your body works better. So we talked about earlier with stress on the gallbladder, the liver digestive system, we allow the body in a general sense to calm down the stress response. So our vagus nerve works well. Our body works at a normal, higher function, optimal function. Mm-hmm. So at that point, our body can work. So whatever we're doing to our body, may be supplementation, may be exercise, maybe even meditation for one too, or even eating proper foods, then the overall effect will be more effective to detox the liver, have the liver work at a higher function, and from there produce, like you said, the detox, and also not detox, but the production of more bile through the gallbladder, because everything works better. At that point, can your body heal better because then you're doing the right things for your body with a better nervous system? That's human physiology. That's how it should work. That's my 2 cents, Olivia.
Yes. No, I know personally it has helped me quite a bit with a low functioning gallbladder, incorporating a little bit of chiropractic treatments and acupuncture to improve the vagus nerve. So I encourage all my clients to usually do both as well.
Well, a lot of it, I think, is when you look at your body, correct? Look at your well-being. It's not just your liver, your gallbladder, your nervous system. It's everything together. It's all one system. We just keep it simple for people that are breaking down per system. That's why we have specialists get paid high dollars, because they're a specialist on something like GI specialist, or something. Not because I get paid peanuts basically versus a GI specialist, but something to where you can specialize that. At that point, but you still need to understand that specialty has to work with everything else in your body, so your body can function at a higher level. So not only you feel better, but you stay better. And hopefully over time, like someone like Olivia, you talk to, get a consultation with, at that point, to understand how to keep it there with your diet, nutrition, your supplementation, everything you need to do, so you don't have, now you become your best GI specialist per se, your best as a patient. At that point, you understand how to treat your body differently. Everyone's body's different, right? Everyone has sometimes respiratory issues, lifestyle issues for one too. How do we have a customized plan for you? At that point, you focus on that. You have to do the work. Sorry, we can't come over your house every day and give you supplements to take every day. You have to do the work, maintain that habit, so your body can adjust and stay at a better adjustment, so you can maintain that as your normal. That's my soapbox, Olivia. That's how I work my patients every day.
Well said. Yes. Yes. And to your point, the foundation should always be in your diet, and then incorporating in those other lifestyle factors that really help.
Talk about diets. Let's go right to diet, because I know this is your focus, and in our previous talks too, you understand exactly what people should eat, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, you do. Look at that confidence.
Yes. Yes.
Go for it. Tell us exactly. If someone's starting from breakfast, lunch, dinner, what are good things to add that people can add their foods every day to make them better? Is it chorizo? Is it bacon? I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so when we're talking about the gallbladder and diet, there's not really a one size fits all when it comes to gallbladder, because there's a lot of factors that go into it. But what I always start as the foundation is eating a whole foods diet. So making sure most of your foods are coming from foods in their most natural state. So not packaged goods. So things like, example, potatoes instead of potato chips. And then once you build that foundation basically off of just eating whole foods, the foods that are really good for your gallbladder and liver are often, just to simplify it, really dark leafy greens. And that's kind of just, the more that you can get those into your diet, they're rich in so many antioxidants and anti-inflammatories for your body that whether you have gallbladder, liver issues, they're just general overall health. It's better to increase in your intake as much as you can with the vegetables. And then
making it better to eat them raw. Is it better to chop them up into a salad, or what do you suggest?
It's good to do both, but if some people have certain digestive issues, sometimes they may have to go off of raw vegetables for a while. It's very common for people with gallbladder issues, while they're learning to manage their symptoms, they are struggling to digest raw vegetables, and they can kind of irritate heartburn or other digestive issues a little bit. So they'll go on more of a cooked vegetable diet for a little bit until their digestion and their gut can kind of heal a little. And then some other things that are important is making sure you're eating balanced meals. So making sure you have some type of quality protein in there, quality carbohydrates, and a healthy fat. So I never encourage low-fat diets with any of my gallbladder clients. So if we put a healthy plate into practice with, let's say, gallbladder or fatty liver, we would take something like a quality protein like salmon or chicken.
Hey, what? Is this farm-raised or organic?
This is wild-caught salmon. And we want to stick more organic. Yep.
Dang.
So try to stick to more organic instead of farm-raised to limit some of those added hormones and antibiotics. People with gallbladder issues can't really break down red meat, pork, bacon, sausage. So all those things are pulled out. And then, so you have protein in there. You want to get in your different carbohydrates, which mostly come from vegetables. So you have your starchy carbohydrates, which are things like sweet potatoes, turnips are really good. And then your non-starchy vegetables, which are things like asparagus, which are really good for your liver and your gallbladder, zucchini, red peppers, and then making sure you get a serving of healthy fats in all your meals. So healthy fats are high in those omega-3s, really good anti-inflammatories for numerous reasons for your body. But you want to get some healthy fats in your diet, even though you have gallbladder issues. So I usually recommend starting out with just coconut oil or olive oil. Fish is really good as omega-3. But when it comes to fats with individuals with gallbladder issues, you really have to gauge your fat tolerance for yourself. So the issue is that we're told to follow low-fat diets pre and post gallbladder removal, but without addressing the bigger issue. So when we don't eat fats, our gallbladder doesn't know to contract and release the bile. And so that bile stays in your gallbladder and it's saturated and keeps building up gallstones and sludge. So you need fats in your diet. Generally, what I recommend for clients is to keep a food journal. And on that food journal, you record your digestive symptoms, so not calories. So you can track to see how your body responds to food. And specifically with fat, it helps you gauge your individual fat tolerance. So let's say maybe you start with only 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of coconut or olive oil, and you feel okay, so maybe tomorrow we're going to go up to about 1 to 2 teaspoons of coconut or olive oil and see how you do. Your body will always send you early signs, especially when it comes to fats. So if, as you start to increase and you start to experience indigestion, bloating, constipation, any bit of heartburn after eating something with too much fats, you kind of know you've hit your tolerance, or there's some type of food sensitivity that's happening there.
And you said oils a second ago too. So is canola oil a good oil? Canola oil?
No, so canola oil
Okay.
is considered what we call like an inflammatory oil. So
Okay.
it can trigger a higher inflammation response in the body. So I usually recommend pulling those out because when we talk about the gallbladder, we have to protect our liver. And those inflammatory oils tend to be higher in omega-6 fatty acids, which again, they trigger an inflammatory response, weaken your immune system. They're harder for your liver to process. So we pull out things like canola oil, soybean oil, safflower, sunflower, a lot of margarine, butters. People with gallbladder issues normally can't tolerate anything outside of really coconut oil or an olive oil and fish.
How about like avocado oil?
So avocado oil is a tricky one with people with gallbladder issues. Some people are okay. I've had some clients that react to it, whether it's reacting to the gallbladder or if it's more of just like a food sensitivity thing, like a histamine response. I'm not sure yet. The only way you would know is really if you did a food sensitivity test, but avocados I always caution with. Same thing with nuts and seeds. People with gallbladder issues can respond negatively to them.
And a lot of it is, I think you're kind of giving people like, okay, the what not to eat and what to eat. Keeps it simple, right? Do you actually post it, or is it can you get a PDF off this? Get off of your website?
Yeah, so I actually, because I get asked this quite a bit, and so I did, yeah, so I did build a complimentary grocery list for gallbladder and fatty liver. You do have to individualize it for yourself for your own food sensitivities and allergies, but it's available on my Instagram at gallbladder.nutritionist in my bio.
Nice. Okay. Write that down right now. And we said, where is it?
So if you, on my Instagram at gallbladder.nutritionist, it's going to be in my bio.
Okay.
I can send it to you too if you need it.
What I'm doing too, if you listen to the show, I'm looking down to putting stuff on the show notes. It reminds me where it is in the show notes. When I look at it again, see that, I know where to go, because I have a very short-term memory. I'm like an animal that has something that is. I'm not what kind of animal that is.
Me too. I just sent it to you just in case.
Yes, and also her Instagram again is on the show notes. There you go, bot. You got it.
Oh wait, that's the wrong one. I sent you the wrong one. See?
Oh no, sad. For a meal.
There you go.
There it is. Okay. And food good, and I'll put it right here in the show notes too. And with this too, talk about meats. Tell me what kind of meats we can and can't eat that helps our gallbladder, liver, or just overall general healthier for us. Again, you mentioned, as I like, no more farm raised stuff, right? None of that stuff. Aged animals. Yeah. So what do you suggest protein wise or meat wise that people like myself, a meat eater, what do I do?
Yeah. So for people with gallbladder issues, pork and red meat and things like bacon and sausage are actually what we call the number one trigger foods for people with gallbladder issues. So meaning that it can trigger gallbladder symptoms. So we usually pull those out, and people tend to just do best with chicken breast. So we want to make sure the chicken breast is, organic if you're buying it from the grocery store. If you're purchasing it through what we call like sustainable, which you would get through like a local farmer, I use Western A Price Foundation, and I can send you that link to Dr. Tony. And it's an awesome website because you can contact your local chapter in your area and ask them for a butcher that specializes in sustainable meats that are free of hormones, antibiotics, and that are pasture raised. So I use that for chicken, and it makes a world of difference. If you've ever eaten chicken that you can source directly from the farm versus from the grocery store, there's a huge difference in the meat. So I've used Western A Price Foundation. In the Inland Empire and Los Angeles County, I use Electric City Butcher. They're amazing, and they actually know how to cater meats for digestive issues. So they're familiar with gallbladder problems, which is awesome. And they've been able to help me introduce things back into the diet like bison without having gallbladder issues. So I'll share you their link as well because they're a really good company. And then when it comes to fish, so fish, wild caught salmon, wild caught cod, most people can tolerate halibut as well. That's probably about it. Oh, and then sardines for people with gallbladder issues. I source all of my quality fish products from Wild Caught Company. So they'll just ship directly to you. They're like a monthly subscription. Their fish tastes really good. And then what else?
Are there ones on Instagram all the time too? On Instagram, they're doing the Instagram promotion.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've been doing a ton lately. Yeah, they definitely got me hooked. So
I look at those things. Always push learn more and do a couple pages with them. At that point, yeah. I'll get out of it, then I'll still get like probably. I'll now look at what they actually do once because they'll send me more information, right? So that's my way of marketing. I figure out their marketing, what they actually offer. But it sounds like a great deal. If you eat fish enough, it sounds like you're gonna not save money, but as much as if you buy fish, just normal fish at the store, you get better quality fish for the same price.
Yeah, no, it really was. Before I was purchasing my salmon from Costco, so I was getting like the big 1.5 pound wild caught salmon. And when I broke it down for the cost, it was about the same. Yeah. And the fish tastes so much better. The smell of it doesn't stink, which that's an amazing thing. Yeah, it doesn't smell. Even the cod doesn't stink. So definitely recommend checking that company out as well.
Nice.
And then, the other one that some individuals do well with is turkey. So turkey is really good. It's got a lot of good nutrients in it. Again, the turkey I source from Electric City Butcher, or there's companies like Keller Crafted. But again, when we purchase turkey from the stores, we want to make sure it's organic and it's free of those added antibiotics and hormones.
And go over again too, because I don't think we went over yet, is what is organic versus non-organic? What is the difference besides price?
Yeah. So sometimes it can be the diet that's fed to the animals. The other big thing is processing and the added chemicals that are added into the meat. So basically what the animal is fed. So I haven't 100% gone into deep into the manufacturing yet, but I know the basic is that a lot of times, they feed animals basically antibiotics and hormones to beef them up. And so then you're ingesting those added antibiotics and hormones into your body, which can cause a lot of issues with your hormones, cause a lot of problems with your liver, because your liver's now like overtaxed and having to detox even more of these chemicals out of the body. So I always recommend to clients, if they're on a budget, really budget for quality animal protein, and then make those choices when it comes to vegetables. Try to get organic if you can. If you don't do organic, kind of use the rule of thumb. If the fruit has like a thicker skin on it, like bananas or avocados, those you can sometimes get away with like not purchasing organic. So budget around there, but like I said, it's really good for you to purchase quality animal protein if you're going to have the animal protein in your diet.
It makes sense, because if you're eating a protein that has antibiotics and hormones that don't break down when you cook them, that animal in their protein itself, the protein fibers of the muscle you're eating, is actually going right to your body, becoming part of your body system. And what can antibiotics and those hormones cause in your body? What are the effects of having that, say, short-term, long-term?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's neurological issues that are associated with like heavy metal and hormones, antibiotics. There's hormonal imbalances. So like hypothyroidism is a big issue. There's increase in estrogen problems due to diet and the chemicals that we're absorbing. There's even when it comes to your gut as well, your gut, getting overtaxed with a lot of those toxins. So it's something that a lot of people don't realize. It's a small thing that you can change. Like it's a small little healthy habit that you can change in your diet to promote a healthier, like long-term health, is just by switching to more organic or sustainable meats.
I think a lot of it is that it was a few years ago. I was at Stater Brothers, and one day I looked at these Foster Farms chicken breasts, and I went, these just got huge overnight. Either these chickens are running a lot and doing weight, or there's something going on here. It's like the package, that the meat went from like maybe a small little, not an egg shape, but like almost like a cantaloupe almost. It's like,
Yeah.
how did this chicken leg, this quarter leg, this chicken breast just grow overnight? It's like it's Hercules or something like that, or some type of whole transformation. And it's amazing when I have friends that come from Mexico, and they come here and they're amazed how big the meats are, the vegetables are, everything in the store is like giganticism versus if you're raised on a farm, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like the breasts are almost double the size when you purchase. And there's sometimes like even though I am an advocate for purchasing more sustainable or purchasing directly from the farm, just because I've noticed a change so much in the way I felt, but also the taste of the meat and the quality of it, and seeing that firsthand, the difference in the size of breast with chicken. And even the texture of the breast. So like when you purchase breasts from the store, it's like, it feels thick and it's tough. Whereas real chicken breast doesn't feel that way. So it really made me question what I was eating. And that's why I really like Electric City Butcher. Even your local farmers markets, you can usually source more sustainable quality meat products.
And that would be a good post for you, is basically compare the meat, I guess, tenderness, texture on a post of farm raised versus cage raised, and even like take like a Hulk chicken versus a normal chicken.
I should.
Crazy. Well, and even that the salmon too, you mentioned too on Instagram. It's amazing the natural color of a salmon versus what we're used to buying at the store. But we're so used to it. Is a concern where when someone starts changing their diet, that the amount of food they're going to eat, how much the food is going to be on their plate every day?
So repeat it, question to me one more time. It cut out.
Is when someone's looking at their okay, I want to change my diet, I want to change my meals. Is it better to almost have a mindset to I may eat better quality foods, but my plate may not weigh as much. I may have less food on my plate. Is that a mindset change they have to kind of look at too?
I think so. And something that I find, and I think I understand your question right, but something that I find that works really well. So I don't really dig deep into calorie counting with my clients. I tap more into sustainable eating, meaning that we take into account more that food is medicine and that food should make you feel good. So naturally, you should learn to start eating to more your own fullness levels. And pulling out a lot of those packaged goods is one way that makes it easier because you're not having as much like cravings for different things. But when you build a plate that has like all what you call like your foundation, like all your macronutrients in it, and that's based off of mostly like whole foods, you're more likely to eat into a feeling of fullness versus like overdoing it.
That makes sense. I mean, a lot of it is
okay. I wasn't sure if I answered your question.
Yeah, we're good. A lot of it is when we go to for example, a normal, for example, cafe or a takeout restaurant. A lot of it is sometimes you want to get the bigger meal. You want to make sure that meal makes you full. Like you're not going to have a meal tomorrow, or you can go home and maybe something at home. So a lot of it is we have to change our mindset. As if I'm going to eat healthy, I may have to eat less because I'm going to eat foods that may not be good for me. The chicken might be good for me, but the two buns on top, along with everything in between and all the sauces and the fries next to the burger, may not be the best for me. So can I eat enough that's quality versus quantity sometimes as a way to help myself get healthier?
Yeah, 100%. And in the coolest thing is that when people change their mindset to focus on that and they just focus on eating real foods, weight loss comes naturally with it. And so I see that all the time, you know, with my clients, is that weight loss just naturally comes with them eating more whole foods based diet and focusing more on how the foods make them feel, and eating to their fullness level.
Amazing how that works.
It's simple. You don't have to live your life tracking numbers all day long. Who wants to do that?
But that's what you're told to do, right? That's the problem. You're told to do that.
Yeah.
That point, that's only I can. There's only once his mouth. By you putting the word out there and sharing your message, Olivia, allows people to see a different way of eating quality versus quantity, and then seeing the health results of maybe a more higher functioning liver. Maybe if you still have your gallbladder functions well, so you don't have the stomach pains, the gallbladder pains when you're eating certain foods, and your overall digestive system works better. So even your bowels are working better too. So everything in your body, you don't feel like I this, this, and this. You don't get in that trap to where, am I going to remove my organs? Am I take my medications? Should keep medications on me all the time. So when I go to the restaurant, I may have a stomach problem, take it before I even eat the meal. So a lot of it is you're getting people away from the long-term effects of not only chronic medication use, but the long-term effect in their body too, I think. That's my big picture of what's going on.
Yeah. And no matter what, that's the end goal with all my clients is just teaching them the steps to achieving health long-term. So making it sustainable. That's my number one thing.
And what does it take someone to get to that point where they're confident and you know that they're going to stick to a plan based on how you've helped them? What's that time frame like?
I usually recommend minimum of 3 months. For sometimes with fatty liver, gallbladder issues, it can be up to about 6 months. But 3 months, it should be no matter what, by 3 months that you're on the path moving forward in the right direction.
Nice. Okay, so why is 3 months a good window?
3 months, because at that point we've addressed a lot of like the root causes, and we've started addressing if there's issues in your gut, if we need to do any liver support, and then getting into creating habits. So teaching you within 90 days, at that point you've learned healthy habits. And I would say even by month 1, most of my clients, they recognize the power of food and just simplified nutrition, that they become hooked in the process and they just keep moving forward from there. Because you really have to incorporate even some type of you have to incorporate some work of your mindset in there. And that's where I really tap into asking my clients, how does food make you feel? You know, what are your digestive symptoms associated with food? How is your body responding to it? And the more and more that they tap into it, the more they recognize the positive aspects of it, and they want to continue living life this way.
And a lot of it, I think that they're able to change their physiology because they have to almost learn how to be uncomfortable to cause a physiological change in their body. Then when they see the change being consistent all the time. Their foods they buy, the foods they eat, the food that tastes good to them now, 3 months later, a month later, is a lot different versus the unhealthy foods before. I remember before when I was probably about 1,000 years ago, I went off of a diet. I was drinking Diet Coke probably once a day, Diet Coke. I said, you know what? I read enough about this. I'm not going to be dumb. Let me go off Diet Coke for a month, see how I feel. At that point, I went to go drink Diet Coke after a month. I'm like, this doesn't even taste good anymore. So your taste buds, your link to desire to have that food or beverage becomes less and less over time if you remove it from your lifestyle. But you have to have the discipline, the mindset, like you said before, too, to get yourself to do that and feel uncomfortable doing it. At that point, you're going to cause a change that can last for the rest of your life. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to keep an open mind with it. And that's what I ask all my clients to do as soon as they start working with me. It's like you have to unlearn everything that you've been told already and just have an open mindset to this.
And unlearn your habits too. Your habits of, I won't go to this store or this fast food place because I know it's cheap food because it's less expensive, but also cheap food because it's less quality. So can I now go over here instead? I may have to figure out where that store is that makes me want to buy and eat certain foods that may not right now make me feel good, but may in the long term be best for me and taste good, and then explore foods in that store or that environment. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where really like the food reflection helps because it makes them aware after, like, let's say they do eat a fast food, they may have that initial like, oh my gosh, this tastes awesome. But I guarantee you within a short amount of time, like 5 to 10 minutes after having a meal, you're going to feel the fatigue. You're going to feel moody. You're going to maybe have digestive issues. And that's what you have to kind of remember, is those feelings associated with it. I still remember years ago when I first started having my thyroid imbalance, I was eating tons of donuts all the time. And my doctor at the time was like, next time you eat a donut, I want you to take water, chug it, leave it in your mouth, and let me know how you felt after. And that was the most disgusting thing I've ever done, because all you felt was like a cake of oil in your mouth. And what she explained to me is that I associated a negative feeling to something that normally tastes really good. And ever since then, I've been trying to incorporate it, and it makes a world of difference. The more that you reflect on how the food makes you feel, if it's something like eating a fast food, you're gonna not feel as great after all the time, even though I know you're human and you should have balance. Having a burger here and there is, I'm not gonna tell you not to do that, but if you do, like, reflect on how it makes you feel, because ultimately, like, food is the most underrated medicine that isn't discussed or educated on today.
And that makes sense to where a lot of it is when we look at the effect of our foods on our how we feel short term might be a great little rush, but all of a sudden there's the drop. I had the same thing I had, and I'm going to cut out, since I think it's minute 45 to 46. Anyone who's a police officer who loves donuts, do not watch this. That minute. My buddy, he's a police officer. He loves donuts. He's good shape.
I'm so sorry.
I want to apologize, but now you know.
Don't drink water after.
Now you know, Scott, what's good for you. I remember one time my buddy's son brought in, because the next to my office is McDonald's. Brought in McDonald's. I was starving. I go, let me just have a bite. So I ate the whole thing, right? Little Big Mac. 10 minutes out, I was like, I have to go lie down because I felt like just not good. Felt like food for a while. So you have to realize when you do, okay, do I want to feel like that? Or can I think about beforehand, initiate a better food, because I know that's not going to make me feel good. Like you had mentioned, just reiterate that when you reflect on your foods, at that point, I want the long-term benefit of being healthy, yes, but I have to do the short-term sacrifices to make my body want to feel good, and then inside, outside, so I don't have to go to the doctor. I don't have to go to get medications. I don't have to go get my gallbladder taken out, my liver removed, whatever is under the livers now, or even kidneys too. The long-term effect of us, especially guys are the worst because we don't listen to our bodies. A lot of it is we want to make sure we avoid colon cancer in general, but also anything in the long term that we don't think about now, is we can take care of it now by doing the right things when we're younger, whatever age you are, so you don't have the problems later on. It's being proactive, I think, which it's not instant gratification, yes, but it's compound interest. So at that point, your body gets the health benefits. So you're not in your nursing home at 85 years old while your buddy's out playing golf. You're like, dang it, why can't I be out there? Because let's just an interview with Olivia. She listens to the interview, she'd been fine. You know?
Yes. 100%.
Anything else for you? I know we're getting a little over time. We talked about 45, a little bit over time right now. So Olivia, to wrap up, what do you want my audience to think about that point they get themselves off their couch, out of their car, away from the fast food place to better lifestyle? What can we do to get people to understand you can prevent these problems, digestive problems, if you do this? What's the best way to soapbox them into it? Yeah.
So just know that all those things are within your control. So your diet, your lifestyle choices, those are all, it's not so much about your genetics anymore. It's more so you have full control of your health, and food is a powerful tool that is used in that. So I always encourage clients, no matter where you're at with your eating habits, just start small and focus on increasing, the good vegetables in your diet. Build a plate that has a healthy foundation. So it has some type of protein. You got your good carbohydrates from vegetables and some fruits, and then making sure you get healthy fats in there. So just really simplify nutrition, put all the diets away, and just get back down to the basics and really reflect on how food makes you feel. Because I can promise you, the more that you tap into that food gives you energy or makes you feel good, it increases your mood, the more you're going to become hooked on the process to eat healthy, and it's going to be so much easier for you.
I like as you take little steps here and there, At that point, you see the difference. You take another little step, another little step. That point, you
Yes, always baby steps.
You try to go, okay, I do little steps first. At that point, get them to make a difference in their lives so they see the difference. They feel the difference. They have more confidence that you're working for them. And this is the biggest thing, I think, is like you're saying too, we have to think about our health in the future, not now. We can't be reactive to our health. We have to be proactive. I'm going to use that sometimes quote. I don't know, make a quote up. A lot of it is when we can be proactive, then we can think about, okay, what can I do today to make myself a little bit healthier? May not be comfortable, a little healthier. So the long run, I get to see my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids grow up. Maybe my great-great-grandkids, I won't be alive by 140 years old, but who knows? But do enough today to really see the benefit. In the show notes, I'm going to have all Olivia's connections through Instagram and through her link tree, also her website. And also we have the link in there too for her PDF food meal prep guide. At that point, look at all that stuff too. You have the tools now, my friends, listening to the show, watching the show, to make a difference in your life. So we hope you do. If you don't, oh well, it's not going to affect us. It's going to affect you. So hope it works for you. We're going to stop the broadcast now. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.